All right. How you guys doing tonight? Again, I'm gonna let this everything kind of click on. I don't know where we're at. Anybody's out there, let me know. So, make sure things are working correctly. Like I said, if you're out there, please let me know things are working. All right, Harvey, how you doing, buddy? Am I good? Everybody hearing me good? Know we're gonna hang out here Saturday night, talk a little bit about the software in general for anybody new to xTool. Kind of going to go over some stuff, just the basics of what the functions, how Studio works with maybe a few different machines. We're going to go over kind of the, like I said, a lot of the new stuff that's coming out with the new update. Thank you, Harvey. What's up? Hey guys, thanks for hopping in, man. It's I really appreciate it. Like I said, hanging out with me. Sorry for my camera. I gotta learn to find a new spot for that camera. I'm terrible about this. So, but yeah, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna kind of go through just the studio itself in general. Again, for new people coming on, because this is the kind of stuff I like hanging out with you guys with. You know, showing you guys new stuff. That's awesome. Showing you guys, answering questions. Again, that'll be something else we get to do later on. If you guys got questions about any of the software, any of the lasers, I'll give you a little bit of background on myself here. So I've been working with xTool for about 5 years, 4 years, 4.5 years now. So since 2021 is when I got my first D1. I started with the D1, worked myself to I think I got the P2 next, and then we had to the S1, P2S, F1, F1 Ultra, F2 Ultra, P3, F2 UV, and then our latest one was the Metal Fab, which has been awesome. I love that machine. My background itself, my day job is a tool and die, so it's kind of right up my alley. We do a lot of that stuff. Nice, and so it's all this stuff. That's why I said this is why I love doing this stuff. I like teaching, like showing people stuff, answering questions. So, and again, if you guys can't hear me, and like I said, there is a couple of questions. We will work on that, and there are some things that I've learned about some stuff. Hopefully, I can answer your questions with some of the issues people are having with the new update. Um, and we'll definitely go through all that stuff. So, and again, I'm gonna try to answer questions kind of on the fly. I'm sure there'll be some other people, colleagues popping in, and then they can have probably chime in too. And I appreciate all that help. But like I said, we will get into this right now with the software. Again, like I said, if you guys gonna kind of like let me know what kind of lasers you guys have, so kind of let me know which direction we want to talk. I'm sure everybody's kind of got a little bit of everything. This is kind of like a Lay's potato chip. You don't usually have just one laser. You have multiple, which is not a bad thing. So, but all right, let's go into the software here. Let's actually, you know what? Let's do this first. Let's do the graphic. So, let's do this one first. You guys have a chance to win. Again, this runs for 48 hours. So, somebody will win in that 48 hours $100. So, if you scan that QR code, and if you can't get the QR code, take a picture of it. You can actually go back in and with your phone, you can find the little thing. It will actually scan the QR code. I'll leave that up for a little bit so you guys can do that. So this will be good. Like I said, this is going to run for 48 hours, and you'll get an email. Whoever wins it, I know people win it. I'm pretty sure. I think I've actually won one. So again, everybody's able a little bit eligible to enter. I don't enter this ones. The ones I do. So uh, this is the second time I've done this with xTool. Again, I've done a lot of stuff with xTool. I normally do this on my own channel. Again, I run my own laser business, which is E2 Laser Engraving out of Michigan. So if you guys got any questions, if you're looking for a demo host, again, we have pretty much all the lasers right now. I did not get the M2 right now. So, but again, we still can answer a lot of your questions if there's things you're looking for. So, and then we do have the codes. So if you're looking to get something from 99 to, pretty sure it's 1,000, then 100, and then 399 up, you get $300 off for Ben 300. And then for people up in Canada, obviously it's Ben 130, and then Ben 450 for the 400 and up, and 1,400 and up. So we'll pop these up throughout the show here. So let's go back to these chats. You can see everybody. A lot of S1s. Yes, S1's a great machine. No, the M2 I think is a very good entry level laser, and that's where, like I said, it was the S1. And I think the M1's a good one to get people into being comfortable with the laser, and then you start moving up, and that's where it's definitely the benefit with that M2, the price point, and all that good stuff. So it definitely gets people in if you're looking at stuff. So yeah, a lot of S1s, F3s. Again, a little bit of everybody. So all right, we're gonna go over again just some new stuff. Again, people that popped in a little bit later, we're kind of just go through the basics. If people that know about certain things in studio, just in general. I'm gonna start out on a P3 here. So switch this over. If everybody still can see that. I'm trying to play with some stuff here. I'm still getting used to Restream, so that's new to me. So kind of just walk through some stuff in your basics. A lot of people don't know when they come into this stuff. You have two different settings. You have laser settings, and then you have this side on the right side of your screen, and then your software settings on your left side. So again, don't we'll quickly go over this stuff, and then we'll hop into a lot of the new features. And again, don't be scared of the updates. I know a lot of people are like, oh, this does this. There's always gonna be bugs, but I'm telling you, what they've put in this new update has outweighed any of they're again, a little bit bug here, a little bit the big bug there. They will fix those bugs, guaranteed. This is why we update. This is why we do our firmware updates. So that's, again, you've got to do both. If there's a firmware update, especially on this software update, because we did change some stuff, just to how the files are saved, all that stuff. So that's a big thing. So sorry if I stop, and I'm probably reading chats and stuff. We'll throw the chats up here too in a second, so everybody can see what I'm seeing. Just nice to be able to do that. But so in the software here, just real quick, we're going to run through the basics. Basically, your home screen, you start here. This is kind of everything you've worked on. So you guys can kind of see we work on a lot of stuff. We do a lot of different things. But just your history, that's that. There's tutorials, a lot of what ifs, even the custom things. If you guys haven't looked into that, especially if you're selling online, doing that kind of stuff, that is a very good feature. I'm diving a lot deeper into that one right now. So definitely, maybe we'll talk about doing something on that one. We'll talk to xTool, see if I can do something. A lot of projects, and again, these are all dedicated. And you can go to a Tom, which is another website. I think you can actually still get to it from here. You have the Academy again, so it's training for it. Pick your laser. It gives you the rough basics of all the skills, kind of what we're going through, but maybe a little bit more basic. Again, you can always reach out to any demo host and sign up for one-on-one. I'm available. Find somebody in your area. It's one of those things. It's we're there to help you out. Be the best you can. And if you have questions and something doesn't jive with that person, I'm not saying find somebody else, but again, there's always people on the Facebook, ask questions. There's always people out there willing to help. That's what I do love about this Facebook, the xTool community, the laser community in general. So then we'll talk about some more stuff here in MySpace later on. But that's basically your home screen. Then across the top, you have all your different lasers. You can have as many as your computer can handle open, guys. So, I think the last time I did this, just to play with it, I had 22 tabs open. Would you ever have 22 tabs open? I hope not, but you can. Before, we used to, a few updates ago, you could only do 6, I think. So that's nice if we can do that. Just working out through here. Obviously, a lot of people, if anybody's working with you, helping you up, there's always a lot of different ways to do the same thing. Obviously, if you file, big one under this category that I'm going to show you right now is the export. So export, if you guys don't know, you can export. We'll talk about this later. All these different formats. So you can actually export your files out as an XCS, a SVG, a PNG, or a JPEG. Those are very, very helpful for giving stuff to customers. Even like on the Tumblr rep, you can do a screenshot, save that, do all that stuff. I've done that. So exporting those are very handy. In here also, obviously, all these things, again, there's always, none of these are going to be highlighted because we don't have nothing selected. That's all these are. But there's like 10 different ways to do stuff. If you do like you can change your canvas. Again, I have a grid on here, so this stuff's not going to show up. List of hotkeys. If you guys are big on hotkeys, I like hotkeys myself. You can go through the whole list. I'm not going to click on it because if you want to see it, you can go download it. There's a hotkey for darn near anything. And then obviously your settings, which is, again, something big that people are going to ask for if they're trying to help you out. If you guys don't know, this is one hotkey that's very popular. If you didn't know millimeters to inches, I'll swap back and forth. I'm an inch person. A lot of people like their millimeters. Sometimes they're just like, we're talking. You can pop back and forth hitting Control K. Auto snap, same thing. Control R. So that's another one that you go back and forth. If you use a lot of vector files, which are DXF files, if you do AutoCAD, stuff like that, I do recommend this being checked on. If it's not, we'll just go over this right now. So this is one of the new features they just added. So you can change your middle mouse wheel to either move the canvas or zoom the canvas. So that is one new feature that just got popped in. So we're in here and we'll talk about it. Keep it size. I do recommend this one for sure. Who's putting the email addresses in? So, and then these ones are too much. The DXF settings. So this stuff here, I do recommend if you are bringing in stuff from CAD to adjust this to like this 0.004. I think it's set at like 0.0001 or 4. Knock it down a little bit. So when you bring a DXF file in, it will actually join it, because if you don't, it'll just be single lines. So if you've ever had issues with that, especially in people that do have the metal fab, that is one big issue. Then obviously there's a lot of metal fab stuff, smart detect firmware updates. This is a very powerful feature. Gentlemen, is that Razor Grizz 619? If you're having an issue, not you, there's another person. Sorry, I'm going to scroll up here a little bit. You had an issue with something running slow, I would definitely go in there and do the clear cache. Do this. It'll tell you how to do it. It definitely helps. Just get some of the older files out of the way. It does help clean that stuff. We'll speed some stuff up. Again, always check for updates on your firmware, even the batch processing. Even if you don't use it, I would still recommend updating this stuff. The more update the software is, it works together better. So, like I said, I'm going to be running back and forth through some of these questions here. So please just keep adding them. So that's basically your laser settings, studio settings. Can I work through? Yeah, save. You can save to your MySpace just out of the blue. A lot of people like saving to MySpace. One thing they did add is actually a MySpace button down here, which I think is really cool. So you can actually look at your projects, pull all these projects up. Right now, right from thinking about having to go back to the other screen, which I thought was really cool. you do have to be careful. It is a cloud-based system with a lot of the updates. I do recommend backing up on your hard drive, a hard drive of some sort, just to be safe, just so you don't lose all your hard work. I know we've all put a lot of work into this stuff. This will be another feature that we do talk about. So like my logo here, if there's something that you use a lot of, kind of like, again, I'm gonna go back to the CAD because again, CAD design, computer drafting is my background. You know, you got a block or so, you know, a file that you use a lot of, you know, that same file you just use over and over, you can make it a what they call an asset. So you can save it. We can kind of do a little demonstration. I'll go there. Let's go down. We'll just work our way down here. So like a template, if you're always gonna do wedding stuff, we can go over here. And then we can go in this. And we can say save selected item, name it, you know, wedding logo. I don't have to go search it through templates. I use this quite a bit. And now it's always in my thing. So it's a really nice feature. Again, this is a new one they did add. This is part of the new ones. I'm going to kind of jump in between a little bit. So that is a nice feature. There'll be another one here I'll show in a minute. Again, just working down through, you got text. Again, all kinds of, just click. It's coming in so small on me, but there's so many different things in the text. I mean, this is what's really cool about all this stuff. Kind of want to jump between. This was hard for me. I do a lot of back and forth. I bounce around a lot. I try to stay down my sheet here. I'm gonna try to stay within you guys' questions here. It's hard for me though. I really love that you guys are all on here. Yeah, we're all waiting for that on WonderPress and the Omni for sure. I'm right there for you guys on some of that stuff for sure. Honestly, a lot of these settings that I'm showing you will work on every single laser. Right now, everything I'm going to show you, except for one thing, will not work on the two things. Will not work on everything. So everything else should work on everything. So that's what's nice about this. Like I said, that's why it's more of a basic studio questionnaire, you know, answer your questions, all that good stuff. So like, again, I'm going to jump around here a little bit. Fonts, there's all kinds of stuff we can do. You have your whole list of, 9 million fonts. You can bookmark these. If you like your favorites, that's what a bookmark is. If you like it, just click the bookmark. It's a lot easier to find because you can filter by bookmarks, fonts. You can filter by projects you've already had open. You can just search if you know the name. There are some things, and there's some that I think have gone away. So be careful. Yes, there is a limited space in MySpace, just to let you know. So, but there is abundant amount of fonts. So you got single lines, you got display, you got sans serif, and there is a little tab here, so you can slide over handwriting, monospace. There is. Again, every time you download more, they'll just get loaded into this. So, but one of the new features, obviously, if people don't know, is you have the ability to do text. Right click. So I select the box. You can do it here. Actually, no, let's do this. Let's do it on a circle. I'm gonna get rid of this background so you guys can see. Let's do this on a circle. So I am using hotkeys. So that's why I'm able to just pull these up without dropping them. If not, you can just go over here to shape. See, they even give you the hotkeys right here. So line, rectangle, circle. P is for vector. For basically, it's called the pen tool. I'm trying to look at that a little bit too. So yeah, there's all kinds of features that we can do. So this is one of the new ones too that just came out. Again, I'm gonna hop back and forth a little between new because we're already here. No point in missing it out. You select both the features you want to do in your Word. You right click and then go down here to for hit attach text to path. So now it attaches to the path. So we talked about this last time I was on. This is really cool that it'll do this now. But now they've actually added under the More tab here. Now we can actually center it, or we can actually go inside now. So now you can actually adjust it a little bit more, which is really, really cool. So it gives us a little bit more ability to do some stuff. So on anything, because we can do it on this. Again, if you want to undo it. So when you do click off it, obviously the circle does go away. You lose that, but it's still there. If you right click, detach from path, so it goes away. Again, now I'm gonna hit the pen tool. You guys don't know what the pen tool is. It just puts points. Now, if you want to be able to make curves, this is where it gives you a lot more flexibility and stuff. And all I did is, in this one I didn't do it, but you can do this with almost any object, anything you bring in. Hit done, escape. Escape's your best friend, man, when it comes to this stuff, designing in any software. We all know that. So again, selecting both, attach the path. Again, so it will follow. Again, it'll follow that any shape. So this is where if you want to set to the right thing. Again, we can go back down here, go to more, put it in the center now instead. Get better whatever we're looking for. So it does help. It's definitely a way to do this stuff. There's still, and then, maybe you have the curve is just too tight and you don't like what it is. Again, same thing, under more. Get this thing to do this. This is where, let me see if they change this on me. So spacing, so you can go in or out with your letters. You don't have to be that one. You can type in 0.5, you can do point numbers too. So that's there. Let's see. Might not really be doing it because of what this is. Yeah, I don't have two letters. It's probably why the other one's not showing up. So yeah, that's part of the text. Again, I kind of showed you the pen tool. Any feature too, just let you guys know, like even this. So say, hey, I want to go in here and edit this. If I click on this and I double click on it, I'm gonna get all this node editing. I can go in there and clean it up, do what I want, erase something. And again, there's like 10 different ways to go in here and clean something. I can just do it by deleting it. Like if I want to get rid of this stuff here, the fastest way to do this kind of stuff, because it's only going to grab that and not wedding, I would just go in here with a box. Say I don't want to do all this curly Q stuff. We'll just go here. Keep it simple. So we select both of these. Again, I can kind of pull into another feature here. Another new feature now under the union. If you hover over these now, it actually will tell you what it's going to do. So it gives you a better idea what's going on. So in this case, I just want to subtract this, that now it's gone. I can go in here and I want to clean this up a little bit more, make this more of a radius. Something like that, you just tweak it a little bit, make it your own, not necessarily use that stuff. I'm not sure what thing you wanted me to show you again. So if you're not sure how to pronounce your name, Ashita. So that's another one of the new things. Again, it's obviously something like this where it's independent. You can just delete it. You can go in here and double click. If you want to just grab, you can box select just nodes and hit delete on nodes, and it'll delete half the stuff. It's kind of what fits what you want to do. Just sometimes don't overthink it. That's the nice thing about this. We can edit a lot of cool designs that are already in here and make them our own, and not have to have that everybody have that same kind of design. So and we'll go over that union stuff here again in a little bit because there's a couple other things I want to show you. So again, just kind of working down elements. So again, they added so many new things to this stuff. Just shapes. Again, you can type in here if you're looking for trees. That's kind of a weird, not what I was expecting actually. Not sure why they only gave me those because I know there's other trees in there. Maybe tree. Nope, still didn't give me what I wanted. It just depends on how it's deciphered. So, uh, give me a second here, guys, and we'll actually pull up the code again for you guys. So we do have $100 we're going to give away tonight. Keep going through this stuff here in a second. Let me pull those codes up. So if you guys want to do this, for anybody that's hopped on, we're going to give away $100 gift cards. We're going to give 3 of them away in the next 48 hours. So this is going to replay. So even if you watch it later, still scan the code. You guys still have a chance to win. So don't think you, just because it was live only, it does say live only, but it says it's going to run for 48 hours. So I will test them on that. But yeah, it's always a good chance to make a few bucks to put toward either another laser or materials or extras for your lasers. So, and accessories. And then we'll do the other code we got going on here is we do have a discount code here for what's Ben 100. You get $100 off anything for $999 or more, or 300 Ben 300 anything for $399 or more. And then in Canada, let's say it's Ben 130 for anything over $13.99, and then Ben 450 for anything over $53.99. So, and again, if you guys ask about the codes, we can pop them up later. We'll keep going through this stuff. We'll leave that up for a few seconds here. Kind of go back through this element stuff real quick. So again, all this stuff. And make sure that you guys understand there is more stuff in here. Don't just look at what's there. There's always more shapes. There's a lot more options to play with. Everything has more in it. They've done so many different things they've added to help us design and make some cool stuff right out of the software. Even like these patterns and stuff. This is something else we can kind of tie into. If you guys have never seen these patterns, we actually have a new array feature that just came out. So we're just going to get rid of this for right now. So even like these patterns, a lot of these people that is that tracking me? Or we want to like put something over metal objects, do cool designs and stuff like that. A lot of stuff with the fiber laser. Right now, if we go under, again, we're going to work it down. Application has a lot of cool stuff. We'll get to that. This is one of them. So grid array. So this is the new grid array function, which is really cool. They did change it up though, because we have 2 options. Because one issue we always had with this was, I can run this to 0. Run it to 0. It's like, all right, I like that way that looks. Maybe I need 3. Let's go 5. I like the way that looks. Let's look to see if it fits what I needed to do. Yeah, that works good. Well, I like what that is. So what they've done though is they made it so I can go back and edit it and say, oh, I need to go a little bit farther. I need 10. I don't need that many. So they actually made it editable, but you have to go when you're done and you want to be able to do something with it, you do have to go down here and then hit uncheck the create array editable later. So then we hit done. Now it's not editable. It is still ungroupable. So now I can ungroup it. All these squares are technically still single. But if we wanted to make this all one big pattern, let's get rid of this guy. You can either union them. Again, there's always a bunch of different ways to make things the same. You do have to be careful. This feature here is the create compound vector. Works great on this kind of stuff. If you have stuff that's overlapping, I recommend using union, because what happens if you have something, and I can show you here in a second, is actually I'll turn you guys' chat back on so we can see what you guys are doing here. I would definitely do the software first for the update. That's a good question. Just because most of the time it will push the firmware update for you. Why did I change the tracking mode? So, but again, have your image selected, create compound vector. Now this is one feature. It's not going to come in as, even though it still looks like it's separate, it's one item. It's only going to show up as one item on your list. So that's how you do that kind of stuff. And then obviously you can release it. Let's see if it does actually. I'm curious. Does it just break it? So this actually breaks it down, and now I can do each individual. Oh, it's even worse. Maybe just that one. So each individual. You gotta be careful of that release command. It definitely can get you in trouble. So especially something like this, I would never. This is undo's your friend. So, but yeah, there's all kinds of awesome features. Being able to design inside. I do a lot of my design. I don't do hardly any designing out of xTool. I do photos. Again, we can talk about that. I'm trying to skip that part. Again, I bounce around. I'm sorry. Keep the chats going. What else we got? Templates. We went through that stuff. So this is actually one of the new things is they added a bunch of these templates, and they actually are, which is really cool, editable. They actually have fonts. Everything's editable. So it's actually really cool. All these ones that have words on them are actually editable. So play around with it. My goodness, this camera does not want to stay still. So let's see what else we got, guys. Again, this is one of the new features that they just added. Again, I highly recommend updating the service. There's a couple things that I will talk about that I've seen with a few issues, just so people are aware of it, because I don't want them to waste materials, because it is a little bit of a big issue, but I know xTool will fix it and hopefully in a properly manner. Work ourselves down. We got projects. Again, this is just testings. It's something you want to look for. Some of them are purchased. So if they have a crown, you got to pay for them. If they don't, you can download them, use them, play with them. They should have a code on them if they are something you can use to sell. Some are, some aren't. They are downloadables, at least to get used to software. Let's go here. So this is another one. So this is where a lot of our features. So whatever you recently used will pop up here. So there's efficiency tools, your grid array. The measurement tool will show you in a minute. Smart nesting, which works better than it used to, but it still needs to be tweaked. It works good. If you're doing a bunch of the same stuff and trying to fit it in a certain square, it'll definitely utilize your material the best, for sure. So, and then material test array, we'll go over that for a second. Obviously, batch fill. Again, we'll work on anything with a camera. And then circle array. I do think they changed that one too. We'll look at that here in a second. And then you have generators. So there's all kinds of generators, halftones for the Trail printer, keychains, port tags. I mean, all these, and we'll pop into one of these here in a second, but there is so many right now that they've added for keychains, door signs, and they're really, again, for somebody coming into this, and it's awesome to have these features available. I know a lot of people were asking in the chats where the barcode go. It is still in here. They do have it down here in the generators. So it is here. It's just down in one of the generator things. If you guys don't know, you can make your own barcodes, QR codes, and all you need is the website or whatever QR code, address you want to put in there. It works great. I mean, I use them on my business cards. So, sorry, guys. And then we got all these different, there are so many different things you can do, just design-wise. This village house, let's look at that one. So, and this is what these things are. They're just kind of, you pick what you want. You want to pick the width, the height. It gives you this awesome 3D model. This is kind of stuff that xTool's putting into us for us. And it's really cool. Right now it's in millimeters. Like I told you guys, I'm an inch person, so so we'll go. Let's see. Select this. Select in. So 6 inches by 4 inches. Let's go 3 inches tall. I mean, you can get real fries. I mean, this is crazy. You can do all kinds of stuff on these things. That's awesome. Door settings, and this is like literally they're giving you all this stuff. This is Valentine style, so there's different type of windows. There's no normal windows, probably just a square window. Yep. You can do outline, kind of material thickness. You just type in what material or thickness you're using. Obviously this will be something, and then you can actually obviously do a kerf offset test file, just so you know what your actual offset is, so you can push this stuff together and make sure your tongue, your pegs, and all your stuff, tongue and grooves fit together really, really cool. This is where, like I said, usually your first ones are free. They are points, so there are credits. A lot of this stuff, this kind of stuff is credit based. They're not bad. It's like 6 cents a file. I mean, we all pay way more than that on Etsy. I know we do. So it's not worth. It's worth it. It is, because again, there's some other features we can show you. This stuff, like I said, even like exploded view, so you can kind of see what it's gonna, how you build it. This is the stuff that's then you can actually do flat layout. It'll show you, it should show you all the pieces you need, how big you're gonna probably need. Then you just export this to the desktop. And like I said, a lot of this stuff, because it's AI based, it does take a minute to probably export it. Oh, I actually didn't hit download. Import to canvas. See, I missed a button. So, and now this is all usable files. Even when you guys get files on Etsy, Canva, whatever. What's the other one everybody uses? There's another one. Creative Fabrica. Check your files. Make sure they're not grouped. There's a lot of your editing stuff, like we talked about with the Boolean operations, the combine, subtract. They don't work right if you're grouped. So I do recommend ungrouping stuff. You do gotta be careful, because it will do this where the stuff doesn't come in all together. Obviously, there's ways to do this without it being grouped. Again, you can go in here, create a vector file. Now it's technically grouped, but it's not, because it's not editable. But we know we can go back and forth. So, but yeah, so this is kind of, like I said, a lot of workflow inside of Studio that we can do. And I hope I'm not losing everybody going over this stuff. We'll start going over more of the new features. We've done a couple of them already. So again, if anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat. I will go back through here and look through some of the stuff, make sure I'm not missing anybody's questions or anything like that. So what else we got? Measurement tool, that's one of the new ones. Then you do have AI stuff. So there's a lot of cool stuff. I've been playing a lot more of this AI. Changed it again. So there's so many different features you can do. You can tweak stuff. You can trim stuff. Again, this is a credit-based. You do get free monthly, but there is so much stuff you can do with photos, crystals, different types of engraving, different types of prints. This is probably going to be more of a feature that's coming maybe. So obviously when the Omni comes out, these will be more prevalent when the UV printer comes out for print to cut. Pretty sure that we all know that it is coming. Oh, what else we got here? So there's definitely, again, there's a lot of things. You can bring photos in, change how they engrave, different types. And you can play with inside of each of these. There's different type of line engravings. There's different type of, you can say, hey, move the background, style. You change the style, and then you can go in here and do different styles. There's definitely a lot of different things to play with it here for sure. There's so much you can do, and just a lot, they're giving us for being able to do this kind of stuff. Cutting like wall art. A lot of this 2D stuff, geometric shapes, silhouettes. Bring a photo in, for the most part, they've done very well. Again, you got to have a nice clean photo, more of a straight on picture. Your photos make the difference of how this stuff works. So, and then we talked about the new MySpace page. So, right now, we'll go through and we will look at a lot of the new updates that are in on top of what we've already talked about. So, one of the new updates, obviously, is they're changing the format of the software. So instead of being a .xcs file now, it's going to be the .xs file. So anything older, you won't be able to go backwards unless you export it, like we talked about earlier. It does help with file formats, and if you guys haven't seen, there is the tablet. There is the phone version is coming out, but right now it's only for the F2 and the new heat press, Wonder Press. So you can't get it for your phone. So we'll get you, Harvey. I won't forget about you. So not sure why there's we'll go back real quick to Max's question about the MySpace stuff. So let's see if it tells me. I don't know what's going to tell me here. If I go back to here, I go to MySpace. There is right here. They do limit it to 248 megabytes. You can actually purchase more. I just got to remember how to do it. So I don't use this a lot for myself. It's more of just these assets. I'll use it more for stuff that I know that I'm going to be going back for. Because again, it does fill up. They actually looks like they've upped it a little bit more too. So what it used to be. Oh, let's see here. All right, going through our list. That is the one new thing. We talked about the new template editor. And again, if there's questions you guys have about anything, we can run through almost anything. If I don't know the question, I will find it for you from somebody. And find me. If I don't, you can always contact me also. I'm on all the Facebook groups, except for like the apparel printer. It's the one machine I do not own. Sorry, I remember what I was looking at. So one of the new features that people have asked about, I like it. I think it works really, really well. Now is the measure tool. Say you want to have 2 blocks. Again, I'm just going to use blocks right now just because it's easier to do. A certain distance apart. There is a number there. Obviously, that number doesn't stay, so we don't know. I'm trying to get right to 2 inches. It's kind of hard. So what you can do now is actually go back to applications. And we go to measurement tool. And now we can go. And we could always do this before. But before, you couldn't actually. All right, I see it's 2 inches, 120. Now, if I hit escape, I can go select this box now and box move this and actually dial this in to 2 inches. And sometimes you might have to do some math because it's going to move 3 thousandths at a time, I think, and 4 thousandths at a time. So if I know that I want that right at 2 inches, I just got to go up here to X now. Subtract 2 inches or 2 thousandths from this one. Now I know I'm exactly 2 inches. So that is a nice feature that they've put in there. And you can do this for multiple things. You can actually have a bunch of them on there. You got, you want to make sure it's in left and right. You don't have to do just one. And then you want to get totally out of it, again, just hit escape. Now I'm out of it. Again, this is not a new feature. This is an old feature. You guys did know they do have actually guidelines too. Again, those things. This is where I do wish they would make these, be able to edit, move them, tweak them in. But now that we have the other number, it kind of works the same way. So it does give you a number, but that doesn't stay. but I can snap to these, which is nice. So it does snap and grab these lines. So again, there's ways to do this stuff. So one of the other features they did add is, and I did notice when I was playing with this today that they need to make a different adjustment. xTool, if you're listening, we need to add this feature when we rotate to pick a point to rotate from, because you can do angle measurement now, which is really cool. So we're just picking 2 points. It's got to be a tangent, and then this is what the guidelines get in the way sometimes, because it doesn't let you select when you're on a guideline. So there, and now that gives me an angle. Like I said, I was playing with this, and unfortunately, when I go to rotate this and say, hey, I want to make this a certain angle, it rotates from the center, and my dimension doesn't. So this is definitely something that we need to make more sense to be able to pick where we're rotating from. Very handy for those with the case. Again, I have codes. We do have a chance to win $100 here. I'll put that up here in a second. You know what? Let's put it up right now. As soon as I remember which one to hit, graphic. Let's sign up. You guys can sign up for 100. Just to let you guys know, I do stick around probably to about 10:30. It's not, again, I'm in Michigan, so it's 10:30 my time, or in Eastern Standard Time. So we're probably another 45 minutes I'll hang around for. So, like I said, I got a lot of questions I can answer, stuff we can do. Again, if you can't scan this QR code, you can save it, and then in your phone, you should be able to go back and actually be able to snap a picture of this with the feature on your phone. Again, you have a chance. Three winners. We notified within 48 hours. So let's say live only though. So maybe it's for only tonight. And then we obviously have the, you get some discount codes if you're looking to buy something. Spend 100, get you $99,000 off. Then 300, get you $399 off. $3,999. Then in Canada, you get Ben 130 get you $13.99, and Ben 450 get you $53. It's got to be spending at least $53.99 before taxes. So you guys know, these are all before taxes. So they do stack on top of discounts. So on button. All right, so let's see. Going through the list of stuff. So one of the things they did add, when you guys are doing material test arrays, is and again, you don't have to do this. I'm just so used to doing a square box. You can actually just click on material test array and it lets you do it nowadays. Not that I don't like using their logo. I'm so big on squares. So say we're doing an engrave. We do material test array. This is something else we added. So now we've always had that, hey, I got to go back, edit it, change it. You can actually type in right here now that this is, basswood. I should call it birch, but, and then we're lines per centimeter, 200. It's not real 100, so we'll do 100. So you can put all this information now in there, which is nice. You can actually say, hey, this is going to be for, wood. Again, this is just a reference, so don't take it as this is what it's going to be. Obviously, you can go back in here and actually put your actual photo in here so you guys know. And then you can go down here. Right now, I can't change power speeds. Some of them you can, some of them you can't, depending on the way you're doing your array. Obviously, you can do more, less. Let's see, we are doing a grade, right? So I do like that they've actually done this, though. They've actually made it so the defaults to 80% power, 20, not 110. So I do like that. It's definitely gotten a lot better, safer. Uh, just know your materials. Knowing that really high power and really slow speed are never a good thing when you're engraving stuff. Always start faster. But again, this stuff's the same. This is basically the new part of the new features. Uh, Again, if you ever want to make this stuff tighter, that's the difference of moving this stuff in. You know, 39. Love it when it does that. 0.039. It just makes them tighter. So, we can just go ahead and delete that and hit 3. So, obviously that's done. Still be able to ungroup it. Still go back and edit it if you want to. It's just able to do it beforehand. Let's see. What are the another feature? That was one of that one. So actually, no, another feature in the test array, or not test array, just in the array feature. So if we had a shape, should I was doing that? And if we ever did it turn this way, and we try to do an array, applications, grid array, it always did this weird, big jump. The gap is never, the more we rotate it, actually I want to rotate that a little more exaggerated here. The gap is always kind of weird. Now you can actually go from center to center. So now it's 2 inches. So you can actually make things a lot closer, which I think is really handy also. It might be back there, but just the way I did it. That was always an issue when you turn stuff sideways. The bigger things that never really worked out well. If you guys are out there, just let me know. If you guys are still, same thing. You got to create the array. I know I kind of babbled on some other stuff. I hope you guys are still hanging out with me. So that is one of the new features. Again, with the Boolean operations, if you guys haven't seen this makes life a lot easier, so you know what you're doing when it comes to doing these things. So Boolean operations are whenever you select two machines, it's the combined feature here. So now it actually, if you hover, it tells you exactly what's going to happen. I kind of went over a little bit earlier, but just to give you an idea. And it always, like this one here, the subtract, it's always whatever's on top. So if I change this one to dive into this stuff, that's what I'm saying. I do weird stuff. So you can change colors, changing the grade. So whatever the one that's on top is always going to push through the one on the bottom. So that's why the subtract does what it does. So that's why subtract is going that way. If I bring this one to the top, I do the same thing. And I go subtract, it's going to go the other way. Union's obviously union. Intersect is going to give you whatever it's crossing. Exclude is going to remove anything that's overlapping. So let's see, you can make it, Hope. Appreciate everybody hopping on. I would like to put the chats out there, but I don't want to cover up anything on the screen. So because I want you to be able to see what we got going on. So a lot of YouTube, a lot of Facebook. I like it. So that is obviously one of the new ones. We did the path to text. You guys are here. I'll show it again real quick. If you guys don't know, path to text. They've changed this one up. You can do circles. You can do squiggly lines. Again, if you're making and there's ways you can do this without. It's very exaggerated. And all I'm doing is double clicking on these nodes. Again, any feature that is an SVG, you can do this with. Any file you bring in, you can do this with. And again, if this is one big thing right now that I definitely highly recommend, if you are doing the update, if you do find an issue, click the support button right here. This will actually get you to the AI. It lets xTool know what is wrong, what is going on faster, so we can get stuff fixed. It does actually help out. You can go to live chat support. So it does help xTool out, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna get out of it. There we go. Arrow button. So, but again, we talked about this a little bit earlier. It works. The bug note comes in so small. So text to we talked about this in our last update. You select both. You right click. You can go to attach path now. And again, you can center. Now we can actually do more. So we can actually go center of the word or on the other side of the word. So if it's in a box, you can go inside the box. So either or. And you do got to be careful when you do have a line like this where it ends, it does disappear. So if you do have something that's like a half a circle, that will happen. So that is one of the new features in the new update. Again, they do outweigh the issues we've seen. Highly recommend the update. Do the firmware update also. Most of the time, if you do the update, restart everything, the firmware update will kick in. So you can go into settings and look for the firmware update too. Obviously, go to settings. It's actually right here. So check for updates. Whenever you do an update, I do highly recommend this, because if this is an update, usually stuff doesn't like to talk with each other. And that's where we have slow computing, slow stuff happening. So both things got to be done. Once that's updated, I do recommend restart your computer, restart your lasers, start everything fresh. So it does help. Even if if you're having a little bit of issue, to restart everything again. Literally do the restart. Don't do the shutdown. So again, if anybody's got other questions besides the new stuff coming out, please let me know. We can talk about that stuff. I know Harvey's got something. Let's see who we got. Still, biggest issue has been not being able to save my F2 Ultra UV crystal jobs. Constant errors. I've not. And I know there's another gentleman that would like me to do some crystal stuff. I do have my UV laser sitting right here. We can look at that for you here in a little bit. A couple more things I want to go over with this stuff. One of the other new features here real quick in this is the fact that you can actually expand. That did not do the right button. You can actually expand these out so you can read words. This one is expandable now, if you'd like that. And then let's do elements. This one is actually expandable now. So you can actually make it bigger. You want to be able to see stuff better. Obviously, it's going to take up some of your screen, but you don't have to keep it there either. So just grab it. Just got to make sure it turns that green line, not the blue line. That's that line. I did have somebody come up to me at a show. Hey, why am I getting these blue lines, purple lines on my screen? That's what those are. If you do get them, you just hover over top of them, right click, delete guideline or delete all guidelines. I know they first came out. People did not know what they were. They didn't understand it. So one thing in here too, real quick, these parametric components, these are another thing. These are all editable features. I say editable. They're tied to so right now, this is why they're red. This is why you can't union them. You can't subtract them, because they do have an edit ability to them. So like right here, you can go in there and change the inner radius diameter. You can change the outer radius diameter. You can change the angle of it. So if I want to do, I use this one to do a lot of cutting corners off. If you want a different corner on something. I know we can put radiuses on other objects, but if you want to put it on an object that's already been made, we can't do that yet, hopefully. Someday. So I've used this before. I do 100 degrees, so it's a little bit more. It's all editable. Once you get it where you like it, then you can hit explode. Now it's editable. Now it's you can subtract it, union it, all that good stuff. So that one's been there. So but they're there. So oh, let's see what else we got for some features. So we got a couple people. Not sure if that was what I just talked about, but yes, or the crystal thing. So we will go over that, look at it. I've not actually done crystal on the new update myself, but we'll play with it. Got a few more things we want to go over. So again, in the templates, so like these templates, obviously they're editable. But the other thing cool about these things is the new feature. That's not the right one I want to do. So any file that's a PNG file, I know there's some in here. Let's go to. We tested yesterday. I got one. So say if you bring a PNG file in, and it's a nice black and white photo. This is definitely one of the new features that they've brought in. And we know there's ways we can invert things and do different things. They've made it a lot easier now. So obviously this is black and white, came in really big. To say, hey, we want it to be done on a black cup. Again, we still have the invert button like we normally do. Invert. But now you can actually keep the background, make the background black. So there's other options too on these ones. So that's actually a nice feature. I do recommend if you do go into adjustments. But I've learned too on these, if you actually go in here and do the grayscale first. And if anybody don't know with the grayscale feature here, this here is kind of your grayscale. If you pull this side up, it should make it darker. Should. You see like the word there in the middle. One goes darker, one goes lighter. Bad example of black and white photo. But it does give you a different result. When I hit invert, that middle's not gray no more. It's white. So that's why I would say always hit the grayscale first and then do it. Because if it doesn't switch over, it will still print that. We can talk about that. There's definitely. I'm gonna tell you now. I usually just use the default settings for the step down, but we'll go over that here in a little bit. We got a couple more things we're gonna go over in the new stuff. Definitely some cool stuff. So let's see, toolbars expandable. So if you do have material settings for something, so if you guys don't know, you can set your material settings. Right now it's set to nothing. That's why I have this big long list of old settings, because when I brought them all in, they were under unknown material. So I have a bunch. Say, hey, I want this setting to be set to default. I can actually edit. You can go in and edit these. So I should play this one first. I have a lot of them. It's probably because I have it unknown material. It's not letting me do it. Let's see. I think I have a bunch under storage. I don't. There's a way to make a default. If you have more than one in there, you can make it as a default, so that one always pops up first. So I'm just not sure because I don't store my settings that way. I kind of use a lot of the base settings. There's a couple I do have my own settings for, but basic engraves, I don't. I know a setting that works, and I don't just save it. Sometimes I do. It's the material part that gets me sometimes. So I don't always like saving it under Baltic Birch. So let's see. Let's do. So we're in here in shapes. I should do a funky shape. Let's do star. So, 2 new features that they've added. One we've been asking for a very long time. When we're doing conveyor work, long items, we can now go in here and actually I'll cut this. We want to do, there's 2 things here we can do. Tab generation, but now we can do manual tab location. So now we go to manual edit. I want a tab there. I want a tab there. I don't want a tab there. So now we can actually manually place our tabs so we know where they're going to go. So unfortunately, I will not be able to make it to the Kalamazoo. I really wanted to. My son is graduating high school, or he graduated high school, and his open house is that day. I am going to try to be down in Indiana on the 22nd, though. Is my goal. We'll see. So now we can manually edit tabs instead of having to do. So they said, okay, they did. Instead of having to do like we're always guessing, we don't know where the tabs are going to be. They're in really weird spots. Now we know exactly where they're going to be. Obviously, play with your settings. I know what's worked for me on my P3 and my P2. So, again, do some tests. And just do a little star and know what works. You know, what's going to hold, what's not going to hold. And it's per setting into the power. Just basically, you're turning the power down. But no, this is definitely an awesome feature they've added. So another one that they did add, and they've done this on all the machines that I've seen, I've played with, engraving a pass. People, we all do it. I tried not to for the longest time. It does make it a little bit better, but now you can do a focus descent on your engrave, a defocus, sorry. So now you can actually defocus by distance without having to go up here and do the math on the material. We can actually defocus, so far. And then obviously it's going to change it up. And then again, why people will defocus is sometimes that can get you a darker image, but you got to remember you can lose some detail. So if it's a very detailed image, I would not defocus very far. All right, so that is one of the new features that's been added. What else we have here? And then another thing on top of this, so if we go cut, we have the ability to add. Show it up. The option. So this is the other feature that I do like about this is if you hover over these things, it actually will tell you. So I know the one gentleman asked about focus descent. This is something, if you're doing some thicker material that they did add, which actually wasn't in the list, is the focus descent. So it will actually step down after the one pass. It actually will step down, go a little farther. So you can actually do that now too. So step descent. And this is not what the gentleman was talking about. Well, that's something else, but that is something we can do. I'm not seeing what I was looking for though. I'm not sure why. So we should be able to add. Maybe I can't do it on this one. Maybe this one is not available on this machine. There's one more thing I do want to show on the P2. So the P2 and P3, there is one more feature. I just want to see if this other feature is not available on that one. I know I've seen it. Oh, there it is. So we're going to go back to the P2. I just want to see if it's available here. So under process, if you click the little three dots here, this is definitely your friend. If you guys don't know about this, definitely look into it. This is one of the new features they did add. So you can do a curve direction with the holes. So either inner or outer. So auto detect holes to add your curve one way or another. It's in the curve settings. But this is what I was trying to look for you guys for. So they actually have a new start point feature now. So now we can pick where we start from. So it doesn't always pick. Say, hey, I want to start here. That's the direction it's going to go. Which is a really cool feature. Especially if you're doing something that's really close. You don't even want to start where it's really, you don't want to start in the middle. You want to start at an end, a transition. So we have this, these are some other features. And then here, there's actually, if you go to user define, again, this is a little different for the F2 series than it is here. If you ever wanted to go from bottom to top, you can actually change that. So it'll engrave from bottom to top. It does, for some reason, make your time go up a little bit. I don't know why that is. And then same thing with the layer. So if you ever want to do something by layer, this is how you do it. So you turn this tab on. Again, this is under the processing, 3 little tabs. And then obviously we have our layer sheet. So if we had more colors, let's add a couple more here. If you guys don't know, that there actually is a duplicate button too. So if you actually hit Control D actually makes duplicates. People have asked about that too. I wish they were exact opposites right over top of each other almost, but that's just my preference. So again, I'm just changing these colors, which is the layers. So these are all the different layers we can do. If you guys don't know, and they have added, again, if you're in the older version, they have added new layers, colors. First, we only had 8, now we have 16. So now this is the order that by layer goes in. So that layer first, that layer, that layer. And if you say, hey, I want the pink layer to go first, you just drag it to the top. Now the pink layer will go first, so on and so on. So again, it's one of those things. A lot of different processes we can do. So one other new feature that they brought out was, I know we all love the ability to, especially in the P2, anybody that has a P3, we can stitch close-ups. Before I could only go in here on a P2, do a close-up, this little box is all I can get. Well, now in the new update, we could actually stitch them. So let's see this little load. What's up, gentlemen? So now we can actually stitch this together. So obviously this is our normal close-up. Now if we want to go in here and stitch this together, now there's a stitch icon. So click the stitch. Obviously, it's going to slide over because our camera can't go so far over. So, and now we can select the whole image, and now it's going to take pictures. While that's doing that, we're going to pull the code up again. So, again, we have the $100 gift card. Scan the QR code. Got 3 winners we're going to pick today, in 40 hours. You'll find out if you win in 48 hours. So, if you can't scan the QR code on your phone or like this, if it's on your phone, you can actually snap a screenshot of it, and then there's an app under settings that you can go in there and look at it. It will read it for you, and you can fill it out. And then we also have some codes that do stack tonight. So if you're looking to purchase a laser, accessories, anything, these things work as long as obviously it's over $1,000 or $399. In the United States, use Ben 100 or Ben 300, and then if it's over in Canada, you're $13.99, Ben 130, and then Ben 450. Oh, that's I don't know that. Everything over $53.99. So obviously, if you guys are not aware of the stitching ability, it does take a little longer. I will have it because it's got to take a bunch of small little photos. So they do take a little bit. Yep, I was hoping to make it to the one here in Kalamazoo, but it just did not work out, unfortunately. We already moved the kids to open house a couple times, and it's just the day it fell on, which sucks because I'm only like an hour from there. But as soon as this gets done, we'll go through. And like I said, the photos, they do take a minute. So it is a cool feature to have. You have this nice close-up of this whole image now instead of having to do just a little piece here, a little piece there. I'm going to hop out of it. Let's see what else we got. So that's coming. So the people that are on here, people that have the P3, this is the one thing that I have found, and I have brought it up to xTool. If you are running your laser, if you have started your laser, do not open another tab. What has happened on this update is when you open a second tab, it actually turns off the first setting. I know some people posted on this. I know xTool was looking into it, trying to figure out how to fix it. If you ever had a tab open, like I have now, as long as there's another tab beyond it, it hasn't happened. So as long as it's already open, so and it's not a P3 tab. If you have a P3 tab open, and you go back and you go open another tab and it's still a P3, it like wants to go to to the laser that's running, it will shut that laser down. So that is the one little snafu that we are having in 1.7.24. Again, I just want people to be aware of it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. So I know xTool will fix it. So that's why I always tell people to keep an eye out for updates. I know we always want to look at the software and say, hey, it should be telling me. It doesn't always do that. So I always tell people, go look at the website. The website will tell you if there's a new update that's out there. I check it usually daily. So, and eventually it will push it out, but that's where it will pop in first. So, and then I really want to pop off the screen, but I don't know if I want to. We'll check. So, say like this star here. The other feature we have now also in the P3, if we are running this thing, let's see, cuts. I'm just going to do this real quick. Like I said, I normally use their base settings, just up a little bit. If you guys don't know the difference between constant power and dynamic power, because this is a star, there's points. If you don't want the edges to burn, it will change the power when it goes into the corner a little bit, just to help not scorch the corners. That's what this is for. So, but one of the features they did add is, I'm going to go hit process. Oh, do I have my nozzle on? I do. Okay. So we can actually start recording. So we can actually record what's inside the laser. Now, I don't have my fan on, so probably why it's not sitting up very well. Finish. So now we can save whatever we're scanning. If you want to save it for later, save it for a demo, do all that stuff. So that is another new feature we have available. And then the last feature that is available, the new update that I've come across, and like I said, there's some other ones we'll show, is the ability in the F2 Ultra. See, it's the I want the and this we can tie this into our other question about descend. So right now, again, if you're doing a jig, and right now for some reason it's only in the F2 UV. If you have a jig, if you're doing a show or whatever, something you do a bunch of, you can actually go into settings, and it's actually set up right here. But in device settings, there actually is an auto mode now, so you can do it on closure or manual trigger. So right now it's not set for height. So right now, if I just go over here and I close the lid, get the stuff up top. Close the lid, it actually will autofocus the laser, which again, I figured worked really good. If I do on a jig, maybe they'll roll this out to some other lasers. So I don't have anything. Not sure why it's saying no material detected, but it's looking for a QR code is probably why it says that, because what it will do will actually read the xTool's QR codes. So if there is material in there that has a QR code on there, it will read it. So that is one of the cool features. So that is one of the other ones that's come out right now. So, all right. I'm going to kind of skim back here through some of these questions, and we will go through the crystal stuff here in 2 seconds. That is all the new stuff that's come out within the 1.27. And like I said, what I've seen, what I've come across, I definitely would still download the software all day long. I think the updates have been a lot of things we've been looking for. I know there's a couple things, and again, if anybody finds something, contact the support right here. Lets them know, finds it in the local spot. So let's see if we go back through here. Roy, I know we talked a little bit. I hope you're still on, not on. We're all excited about the Omni for sure. Can you look at 2 different lasers at the same time? Again, not sure if some of these people are still on. Yes, obviously you can work on as many tabs as you have open. You can work on all the lasers at the time. Again, usually it's just the time the lasers are running. It gets harder, but you can have as many open right now as you want. So, and sending it to all of them on Wi-Fi. I gotta specify that on Wi-Fi. So, If not, I'll try to go back and answer these questions. Then we'll work on this crystal stuff. So let's go through that one real quick. Let's go to the switch that one, didn't I? Back to so I know some people asked about saving their crystals, uh, their images, and not being able to do it. So, like, what do I want to do here? We'll bring in. Let's do. Let's see here. I'm gonna go this route. I know a lot of people go into Tom. A lot of people do it different ways. I can just go right into the crystal, change it up on top, make sure it goes that route. So I'm just scrolling down, make sure I'm not missing on it. I did not. What question do you have about the RA3 and what machine? We can go over that too. I love the RA3 for all of them. So obviously we have Crystal 3D, so we're gonna go here. And this is where, like I said, they do have some cool new. So this 3D photo, I think I actually did this in my kid's photo. It actually made a full 3D image. I don't know how long it would take on here right now. I did for a keychain, not a big crystal. Obviously, so you do have a difference. It is AI. Okay, we will talk about that. There is a couple things you got to do on the RA3. So for the RA3, there should be a bracket that came with it. And again, we'll talk about that in a second. So let's see what do you got here. I mean, the big crystal, it's knowing your settings. Obviously, you're gonna have to burn a couple crystals. I recommend the smaller ones, to play with your settings. Get your settings down. Again, I'm gonna go back to this. The photos make a difference wholeheartedly. If you have a bad photo, you get a photo that's pulled off Facebook 3 or 4 or 5 times, been transferred, it's not going to give you a good result. The higher quality photo you have, the better your photos are going to look. Some customer sends you a photo, it really should be emailed to you, not sent to your messenger, because your messenger is going to downgrade it. So I hold that is number one thing. Your photos have got to be high quality photos to make any crystal ones look really, really good, helpful. Again, there's ways we can tweak the photos, but definitely start with the best photo you can do. So like right now, we'll do a 3D portrait, upload an image. Yeah, I'll know what I do with here. Everybody's seen my puppies, so I'm going to throw my puppies up here. The doggies are famous. And when I say a good photo, a photo directly off your phone, that's a good photo. Directly off anybody's phone. But again, they have to email you the high quality photo. It don't have to be. And I have pulled some good photos off of Facebook. Don't get me wrong. It's just you gotta know that you're looking at a good photo. And again, there's stuff in here. Again, most of this time I've just kind of generated this. So this is actually doing a real 3D portrait. So I'm not sure how this is going to work with my dogs. What else we got here? Let's change this up. I'm going to change this to animals since that's what we're doing. I don't know if my kid photos in here or not. No, they are. We can do that one. I'd rather do a portrait because that's what you guys are asking about. So if we're doing a 3D portrait, upload an image. My kid and his girlfriend too. Be mad at me if he sees this, but and again, you can change how it works. So you have probably more fast mode. Obviously, they cost more money, and it's probably going to take a little bit more time. Let's see what fast mode looks like right now. And again, you get 3 free. So I'm going to generate this one. And again, it does take a minute, obviously. So while this is generating, guys, we're going to throw up these graphics again for one probably last time. Gonna hang out for a little bit just to go over this stuff. Again, I have no problem hanging out, answering questions. So again, if you want to scan to win $100, scan this QR code. Give you a chance to win. And then we also have our discount codes. It will pop up here in a second. Our discount code goes here. Again, Ben 100, get you anything over 1,000. These are stackable. Get you $100 off. Anything over $1,000 or anything over $399, get you $300 off. Or Ben 300. And Canada's Ben 130, $13.99, and Ben 450, anything over $5,400. And again, like I said, we're going to kind of plug people some right now. I know we have another live tomorrow night with Omarosa. She's great. She's does a lot of on-site engraving. Definitely check her out tomorrow at 9 p.m. Again, we're all a big community. Met her out at CES. She does awesome jobs. A lot of good information from her. So I do highly recommend checking her out tomorrow night. So, let's see. And that's the thing. These kind of stuff that they have to take a minute. They're trying to do. I think this is actually making a full 3D model though too, not just a photo. So let this go. We'll go the other route too. I know another gentleman in here, Harvey, good friend of mine, has a question about text inside of crystals. There's ways to do that also if you guys don't know how to manipulate that. So it did do a full 3D file, and this is fast. Yes, it's not super good. This is AI still. So, and then obviously it's her arm instead of his arm. But that's where you can actually go back there and say, hey, make it his arm. You can go back and tell AI to fix it too. So don't just think this is set in stone now. You can go back there and still tweak this a little bit. Again, yes, this is not the greatest quality, not terrible, but it doesn't look totally like that. So this is where this kind of stuff, sometimes it works good, sometimes it doesn't. So again, depends on the file. If it was probably a lot closer up with their face, it'd work a lot better. It was too far away. That's why it came out the way it came out. But I mean, honestly, what we're getting there is not terrible. So let's do it this way. Oh, let's see if this thing makes it mad if I gotta switch this. We'll just switch it real quick just so it fits right. And one trick, if you guys are doing this stuff and you guys don't know, because I see somebody posted this in the chats on Facebook earlier, that they were having an issue with their image being off. I went through this. What happens, you do not line up with your lines. So, almost from my lens. That would have been bad. So the dots, these have to be in front. I wasn't paying attention. I ended up having it on the backside. It throws your image off. So make sure that you are in the front. That will make a difference. Like I said, I learned that the hard way. A lot of struggles for a little bit. And then remember to take your lens cover off too. So make another bad tendency doing that. So there, we're just gonna keep generic just because we're looking. So generic block, obviously we're not this big. Imports. Again, we're just going to do this file. And I know people say don't do it this way. I've not had issues. I do a lot of the keychains, the crystal keychains. Those have turned out well for me. So this is the way I do it. I am going to remove background. Change this to home. Again, there's so many different ways to bring stuff into these files. Again, this is more the 2D, and I know it's going to blow some of it back because, like I said, I've done this file a couple times, and it does. There's a way I adjust it. I've not seen too many issues. I know people say don't do it this way because it puts too many dots close together. So again, I know there's a lot of secondary softwares. Find one that works for you. Obviously, we want good crystal engravings. So is there anybody that uses a different software? I know some people have used Cockpit 3D. I've seen a couple other ones be posted. I've not dove into those stuff because I've had good results doing this stuff for the most part. But it's definitely playing with your settings. So this actually did a lot better than before. So, but again, it's obviously going to have its snafus and stuff like that. It's how to apply it. This is where one of the things, like I said, me and another gentleman talked about this. You know, they used to have it set up where it was allowed to, you could actually tell it how deep you wanted it to kind of go. I see now it doesn't do that. This is what I was telling Harvey. So I'm a big one. I don't know why it rotated. I do know why it rotated, but why? It's not what I wanted to undo. Really? Couldn't get that lucky, could I? Nope. Crystal is definitely heavy on data. I'm not gonna lie. It takes a lot of information. It's a lot of dots. GenMake. That's a new one. Actually, I've not heard of that one. I'm gonna auto scale this right now. So like I said, we don't want to set it that way. So we can rotate it. So we want to do yellow. So I'm gonna rotate the red one. 90 degrees. Start that now. Edit. You're really good. Wonder what 0.2 would look like. Harvey, have you played with the spacing at all? Say you guys don't know Harvey and too old to do this. He is definitely not too old to do this. He has put a lot of time and effort into doing some awesome photos. He's working to be due diligent on this stuff. A lot of testing. So it's really good information. I know he thinks he's not, but there's a lot of people that probably could learn a lot from him on doing the crystal stuff because he has done a lot of crystal stuff. I'm Michelle. I like to hang out for a long time, so we'll go for probably 15 more minutes at least, maybe longer. I'm not in a hurry. Like I said, that's one thing I haven't played with. I haven't played with the spacing numbers. Again, there's so many different tests you can do for this stuff, and obviously we all know crystals. We don't want to waste them, so we don't want to sit there and try to utilize them as much as we can. And if you can get some of the smaller ones, but again, they're all a little bit different. When you start getting bigger, the images got to have more dots or not more dots, and it's not that late. So auto fit. So obviously they want it to be, as close to not being out. So this is where you are going to have a little bit of an issue, especially a crystal this big. Uh, and he's right too. I would definitely probably lay it down. He's probably doing it more the long way. It's probably faster for one because it's going to move better. Right. Definitely need to adjust the crystal dimensions to fit your crystal, uh, your location, and all that good stuff. I do like the auto fit. I just left it the way it is because what we're looking at. But because of the width of the block, it's always going to scale it this way up and down. Uh, Obviously, set it for crystal, for glass, engraving crystal. You know, this is where we can play. I mean, obviously the dot duration, layer height. You know, you can tighten that up a little bit, a little longer on your power. Obviously, you have to add some. I got some in here that we've done some. I've done a lot of testing. It's one of those things we've done. We've done these guys. This one actually did crack on the inside, so I got a little hot. So, but obviously we want it nice and white. I mean, that's what we're looking for. So, and we're gonna look at saving this. But right now, I'm gonna leave it just the way it is, just because we talked about learning to do the other thing too, real quick. So, basic dimensions. I don't have an idea. Again, playing with even this. More I like right now, I would say the cloud is actually better than mesh, just because it's not an actual 3D model. The 3D models is more like if you're doing an STL file. If you guys don't know, you can bring an STL file in for this. So anything that you do on a 3D printer, you can bring into this. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that, but just in case you didn't. Uh, and then again, Harvey, this was one of Harvey's questions too, was doing text. So I just want to put, this is my kid's prom. So I forget, this actually gets edited differently. So we hit edit text. So we want to do prom. So 2026. That is what I want. And then Harvey, if you're not seeing what you're technically looking for, let me know. I always do go to auto fit to start with. I know I'm up, so I'm in the middle. So again, I just gotta move it around where I like it. Now, if I want this thicker, I can unlock the Z. I can go 0.06. 1, 125. Now, if you're talking more of an offset, obviously that is going to be more under the edit tab, and then we'll have to do some different things with the fonts. Some other things we can do. So again, if I want to rotate it, I just rotate it around. You know. Right. And that's why I thicken it. That's why I unlock that so I can make that thicker. I know we talked about, obviously it's going to be driven more by your font in this setup. Because obviously we can't stop, offset it. I mean, I could scale it. You can scale it up a little bit, but uniform scaling, go 125. That's going to do the whole thing. It's probably going to put me outside now. So, and if I want to downscale it, let's go 75, less than 100. So again, there's options to do this stuff. And obviously this one is different than this one because this is a cloud mesh and this is not a cloud mesh. So your settings are going to be, this is where the dotting, again, playing with your settings, dotting and scanning, two different types of settings. So play with some tests, figure that kind of stuff out. And now we wanted to save this. So if I hit save, again, I'm a big guy to save to local. I like saving locally. I use Dropbox myself because then I can access all my computers. I do know there's been a snafu with saving these things with other programs coming in. So let's see if this saves. And again, it is a lot of information that it's saving, so it saves. So I'm not sure what the. So if you want to do more than one line of text, Harvey. In this sense, I see what you're going with here. Let me see if I can do this. I know I can because I've done it. So you can either do it that way, or I should be able to just hit text again. I have to bring in another text box. Again, you are working in that 3D space, so it's obviously you gotta look at it from every angle, make sure you have it where you want to have it. So to bring these lines close together, these two lines here, that was what these icons here are for. Again, if you want to make it thicker, go thicker. You want to rotate it. Auto scale it. I don't know why it snaps it to the middle. I wish it wouldn't do that though. That's not what I want to move. This is where it gets a little funny. So this is where something like this, if you're over top like this, if people have seen this stuff, you can come over here and just grab this one. It'll grab the one you want usually. It's a lot easier than trying to grab it there. So Harvey, I hope that answers that question for you. Again, there's always ways to do stuff to an extent. So if there's anybody else out there that's looking for this, like I said, any questions you have, the RE3 thing, we'll go over that real quick. So RE3 on the P2, you have to have a bracket. If you do not have the bracket, you can contact xTool support, ask them about getting the bracket. I don't know if they'll send it to you if you purchased the R3 already or if it's something you have to purchase through support. If not, you can do And again, the saving issue on this stuff, the crystal stuff, I know it. A lot of it depends on how it comes through. So it definitely depends on how you bring the file in. I know there were some issues with people doing that. Uh, Save this real quick, and we'll go over to this other thing with the RE3. Hopefully, you're still hanging out with us. Uh, One last time, we'll throw up these codes, these graphics. Not those graphics, these graphics. Again, you have a chance to win $100. Do this real quick. I'll go over to this P3. I don't know if it's going to let me do it. I'll have it on R3 in there. So you got this code, $100. Scan it, save it to your phone. Take a chance to win. Get something cool from xTool. Some awesome accessories out there. And obviously we have the codes, $100 off or $300 off in the United States, or $130 and $450 in Canada. And all right, so for this in the RE3, you have to go into settings. So under your laser, this works for P2 and P2S. Go to accessory settings. You have the RE3. There's a calibrate button. You have to do this, but you don't have the bracket. You can make one. It is, and I just did this out of a piece of. I do recommend getting the bracket if you can. I haven't because I usually use my P3. It's the only reason why I didn't buy the bracket, and I just made this one. And it gets you close. I'm trying to find a tape measure so I can tell you exactly what sizes are. Just sitting right in front of me. I just made this little L bracket, and I just set it in the tray. It is 2.5 inches on the wide side and 1.5 inches on the narrow side. Use the bracket. Put your RE3 in that corner. Again, I shove it all the way in, shove it all the way to the right side on the tray. Obviously, your height will fluctuate if you have the riser on, not the riser on the 2 to 2A setting, I think. It might even be 2A to 3. So obviously, it'll tell you if it's going to fail or not. So if you make that kind of bracket, you don't have it, click the calibrate button. So what the camera does is it goes over, sees the X that's on top of your RE3, and calibrates the height. So that kind of sets your height for your laser. Now you can use it like you normally would use your RE3. Just go in here. Again, I'm a big proponent of the truck. I do recommend manual mode. Auto mode worked okay when it started. It's great for these type of cups. If you have a cup that's like this, it can work. If it does not tell you to adjust the angle, what it does is it makes the head move with the cup. It makes it very slow, makes your settings not right. If it doesn't tell you to change the angle to like 3 degrees or 4 degrees, where it still prints parallel, because it should take like 30 minutes to do a full wrap on a cup, honestly, in the RE3. So if it doesn't, just stick with manual mode. You just do like you normally would, like you've always set it up. So when you do set this up in manual mode, if you're not going to use the auto mode, I would try the auto mode. Try it. See what it does. Keep the tabs to the bottom to start with. You will still have to bend the tabs down in your P2, P2S. Still got to bend the tabs because we don't have a way to get rid of that nozzle. So you still have to bend the tabs over to do those kind of cups. But like I said, if it doesn't tell you to turn it up to an angle once you scan it, I would do manual mode, follow it, but tip it up. The idea is to have the front of the cup and the back of the cup in the same plane. So if you go in there and do a measurement, as long as the front of the cup and the back of the cup come out almost the same, that's what you're looking for. I know there's a lot of jigs on there that are made for those cups that make for level. I know some people have just done the trick of doing halfway on that angle. So there's a couple different ways, but that should get you at least close to doing that stuff. But again, you still do have to turn the tabs. And again, once you have this set up, this will populate with like 4 spots, and that isn't a relationship to like you said, your handle. If you have a handle on there with the tabs, I always either do tabs up or tabs all the way down. I like doing tabs down myself because then I can tell where my image is in relationship to tabs. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm not going to kind of run it all the way through. That's okay. If you need to reach out, there's a lot of people. You can do demos, one-on-ones with a lot of us. It's one of those things. So there's a lot of good information out there. If there's something you guys are looking to get information on, I know I do a lot of these studio updates and stuff like that, but I mean, I'm thinking about maybe doing some conveyor updates on the P3, or even some conveyor information. Again, the problem with doing some conveyor stuff, it takes a minute to show people, obviously, depending on what we're cutting out and what we're doing. So there's definitely some things we can go over. So if that's something you guys are looking to do, put it in the chats. Let me know what you guys, some things you'd like to see, maybe some future videos. If it's not me, I'm sure there's a lot of us that hop on here that can do some cool stuff for you guys. So there's not any other. Let's go and see. Put this other graphic up real quick. That one again. All right. So again, if anybody's got any other questions, we've been on for almost 2 hours. Hopefully I've answered a lot of questions. Hope you guys are not worried about, again, I do recommend doing the updates. Make sure you try to get the firmware update. I know the F2 has one, the F2 Ultra had one, F2 UV had one. I don't know if the S1 did. Depending on what you're cutting, you will get some escape. Again, it will leak out, unfortunately. I mean, there is ways that you could kind of eliminate that a little bit, but unfortunately that design does get a little bit of smoke. And it's usually only when it comes around, because the way that when the P2 runs the conveyor, it only stays in the middle. So when it's all over to the right-hand side, obviously you're going to get smoke because it's not easy for it to get to the back fan. So when it comes back around, it's usually fine, but it only runs basically left and right, and then the conveyor feeds you in and out. So hopefully that answers your question. It does get a little bit of smoke escape, so I would expect some. I don't know if you're doing it in the house or whatever, but you do get some smoke out of that. So. I mean, the biggest thing is being in that bottom right-hand corner. Don't set it like you would normally set on RA2. You have to be in that bottom right-hand corner so it's calibrated. That helps tremendously. It definitely makes a big difference. So you want it to sit there and say, hey, it's calibrated right. Again, obviously your height's got to be set right. So it might be a couple calibrations. making sure your cup's right. You don't want to be too high, too low. If you're doing the bigger cup, I would definitely go to like 3, maybe even one more lower than that, just because you do have a lot of leeway with that riser. So, no, the F1 is a great, great little laser. It's definitely a lot of the stuff we've talked about. If you haven't seen it, we can do a lot of the stuff in this laser. A lot of the new stuff. Again, it's all software. A lot of the stuff is the software based, so it travels over a lot of things. So the one thing I didn't show, you guys don't know in the Parallel printer. If you guys have it, they do have the ability to shadow text. They actually do a shadow now. Not sure why it's not showing up. The offset's really light. That's what happens when I do this and I didn't do it. Shadow. No shadow. So you can do shadows on text. Again, I don't play the apparel printer that much. This is one of the things on the new features I forgot to talk about. So, if you guys never gone in here and played with this, again, with the rotary, if it doesn't tell you to do the rotation thing, I would just cancel it because you can sit there up it. It will only limit you at like 180 on your power or your speed. So definitely don't let it go if it doesn't tell you to rotate the cup. In the auto mode, manual mode, I would run. I mean, and that's where cups. I mean, you really should do a power level check. All colors are different. Again, the nice thing with CO2 lasers, you can run them a little on the hotter side. I mean, all of 55 to 60. Again, I do recommend doing a test if you have the ability to do one. But 55 power, 250, 275 on speed. Again, you can go up to 300, but you start losing time, I think. I would definitely do some looking. You can always go and put the 300 and see what you get. I'm a very adamant person of sticking at the 100 lines per centimeter. I know a lot of people said, "Oh, go 200 lines per centimeter, go to 600 lines." It just, if you do the math, it actually equals out. If I bring it down to 100 lines per centimeter and only do 275, so my time is just as much as the other. Yes, the software is for the F1 also. So this part that I'm showing on my screen right now is not. This is only for the apparel printer. So this kind of stuff, most of this doesn't apply to us. Just doing lasers. So we're going to be, all this other stuff that I've showed tonight will apply to the F1. So if you're going to go back and watch it later, everything we've done primarily applies to the F1. There's only one thing that we did show that the F2 will do, that the other stuff doesn't, just because it is a camera-based system. So if you have any questions about your F1, again, I have no problem answering questions. Carol, do you have any questions about your laser? How long have you had your laser? We were just about ready to hop off. Actually, we've been on for about 2 hours. So if you got any questions, and like I said, I really like how these guys put their stuff on the thing. Over 2 years. That's so you got it rid of almost when it came out. So maybe a little bit after. Very close when it came out 2 years ago. So I'm telling you now, that F2 though, you still want to stay in that same realm. That F2 is definitely worth it. But again, if you're looking to go upgrade to a little bit bigger, kind of the gantry style laser, I mean the M2 that just came out is not terrible, or the S1 would be the two that I would, you know, look at if you're getting into a gantry style and still being a decent budget as of right now. I know there's some stuff with the M2 I'm not sure about because right now I've seen there's not really a honeycomb or a way to cut wood. Again, I haven't watched a lot of videos on it yet, so that's awesome. There's a lot of people doing that. So don't be scared of it. Play with it for sure. Um, the F1 is very good for marking stuff. Uh, did you get the light or did you get the full the diode and the IR laser? That makes a difference on some of the stuff you can engrave. But yeah, definitely play with it. Slate coasters, leather patches, keychains, pens, all that stuff. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with that F1. I would say right now, if you're looking, I would say they've either the M2 or the S1. Uh, the M2 is probably a little bit smaller size wise. Technically, the M1 is too, but I would definitely go probably at least go to the M2 or the S1. You get a little bit bigger setup for the S1. So I think you get 16 by 13 in the S1 and 12 by something in the M2. Nice. So, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out there for that stuff. A lot of cool videos. The software's definitely been updated for the extended table. That'll help a lot. So, we'll throw these codes up one last time, and then we are probably going to call it a night. Just for a couple people, obviously they came in late. If you want to try to get a $100 gift card, scan the QR code. Went up to $100. And then if you are looking to purchase anything new, again, we do have the ability to do $100 off. These are stackable on whatever's on sale this weekend. Ben 100, Ben 300 for USA, Ben 130, and Ben 450 for Canada. And again, we have Omarosa. She's going to do a live tomorrow night. And I know she's talking about engraving stuff. So, Carol, maybe that's a good one for you to check out. She's going to do a lot of on-site stuff, that kind of stuff. So I would definitely check out. Gotcha. RV, I'm not sure what you're asking. If you're talking about doing an F1 at an event, I would definitely do acrylic just because glass has to be prepared beforehand. So, Joshua, I am not sure. That is one of the other lasers I do not own is the M1 Ultra. Oh, I do own the M1 Ultra. It does not. It's as of right now, it does not work. Sorry. I know it's got the targets in there. And it used to work with the app, but I know they've discontinued the app. So, oh, yes. Thank you, Harvey. Again, I'm not too big on glass with the F1 just because you got to do prep work. Again, all the lasers will do glass to an extent, but you have to do prep work on anything that's a diode laser or diode laser. I'm gonna use the fiber laser for glass. So if that's all, again, if you guys got questions, you guys can find me in the Facebook pages. I'm out there. I hang out. Or you can check me out on my website at E2 Laser if you guys got questions there. E2laserengraving.com or Facebook, Z2 Laser, or my YouTube channel also. So, alrighty. Have a good night, everybody.